There are three business environments: micro, market, and macro. In this video, I'll give simple explanations in line with the South African CAPS curriculum, which categorizes environments into 3 tiers. This is important to note because different approaches exist. Some use 2 tiers and others use 4. I'll be focusing on the 3-tier approach, which entails the micro, market, and macro environments. The idea of environments helps us to understand the factors that influence businesses and how much control or influence the typical business has over them. These environments are not physical layers that you can see or walk into. They are categories of factors that influence a business to varying degrees. They are usually shown as layered circles to visually represent their degrees of influence. Hi, I am Miss Shabalala, and this is B.Studies. Microenvironment. The microenvironment, also known as the internal environment, refers to the business itself. It includes all the activities and elements within the business, from the owner's decisions to the actions of employees. Since business owners are expected to have complete authority over the activities within their companies, it is said that the business has full control over the microenvironment. The word micro means small. Think of the microenvironment as something small, like how a microscope is used to view tiny things. The components of the microenvironment are vision. The vision is the big dream, the ultimate what the business wants to achieve. It is the future the business envisions for itself. Mission. The mission is the why, the purpose of the business, the reason for its existence. Objectives and goals. These are the smaller whats that need to be achieved. Objectives are large milestones, while goals are smaller steps that lead to these milestones. Strategy. The strategy is the how, the plan the business uses to meet its goals, objectives, and ultimately, the vision. Organizational resources. These are the tools and assets the business uses to achieve its goals. They include physical, financial, and human resources. Leadership and management. This refers to the direction and decision-making that guide the business. Leadership involves setting a vision and inspiring employees, while management focuses on organizing resources and overseeing daily activities. Business functions. These are the departments within the business. The 8 business functions as we know them are administration, general management, finance, human resources, marketing, public relations, purchasing, and production. Organizational structure. This is the hierarchy that outlines who reports to whom. Organizational culture. This is often known as the personality of the business. It is about how the staff are expected to behave, work, and even dress. Market environment. The market environment is just outside the business, where it interacts with or comes into contact with other businesses, organizations, or stakeholders. As much as the business cannot fully control these elements, it can influence them to a certain degree. Therefore, the business is said to have some or partial control over the market environment. A market is where people buy and sell goods and services. And this is a good image to keep in mind when thinking about the market environment. The components of the market environment are suppliers. These are the individuals or organizations that provide the company with raw materials, capital goods, or services it needs to function. The market, customers or consumers. These are the individuals or organizations who buy the company's goods or services. Competitors. Competitors are businesses that sell similar products or services to you and are therefore competing with you for the same market or customers. Intermediaries. Intermediaries act as middlemen, helping to bridge the gap between the business and its customers. They perform tasks like promotion, distribution, and brokering. Examples of intermediaries are agents, wholesalers, and insurance brokers. Civil society and other organizations. These are organizations that indirectly affect the business. They include NGOs, NPOs, or CBOs. These are independent organizations that help the government address socio-economic issues. Their aim is to help society without the goal of making a profit. Trade unions. Trade unions are organizations that protect the rights of workers and promote their best interests. In South Africa, all workers have a right to join a union of their choice. One example of a union is NUMSA, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, which represents workers in industries related to metalworking and manufacturing. Unions can negotiate on matters such as better wages and working conditions, and they can also represent their members in labor disputes, which can include issues like unfair dismissals. Regulators. Regulators set the rules and requirements for operating in a particular industry. They ensure fair trading practices and compliance with the law. A local example is the National Credit Regulator, which ensures that all businesses that offer anything on credit, whether it's goods or money, adhere to the laws of the National Credit Act. A quick side note, lay-bys are not credit, because with lay-bys, the store keeps the goods until the full amount is paid. Credit, on the other hand, is the other way around. You take the goods and pay later. Strategic alliance. Alliances are when two or more businesses work together to form relationships that benefit all parties involved. They remain separate entities that are just connected by that relationship or agreement, and the agreement can be long or short term. Businesses might collaborate on things like marketing or sharing resources when working together has more advantages than operating alone. Macro environment. The macro environment, also known as the external environment, is the outermost range of factors that influence the business. It's very big and includes elements that are completely outside the business's control. In most cases, the business has no direct impact on these factors and can only react to them. In rare cases, a business might influence certain aspects of the macro environment, but it's very uncommon. This is why we say that the business has no control over the macro environment. We use the acronym PESTLE to remember the elements or components of the macro environment, and they are political. Political factors involve government actions and policies that impact businesses. This could be the stability of a government, internal or international conflicts, trade agreements, tax policies, and industry regulations. The political environment has elements or areas that overlap with the economic and legal environments. Economic factors influence how well an economy is performing, and they affect the purchasing power of consumers, how much money they have available for spending. These factors include economic growth, inflation, interest rates, exchange rates, employment rates, and disposable income, which is the money that consumers have left after paying taxes and other compulsory deductions. Social. The social environment refers to the aspects of society that influence consumer needs, preferences, and behaviors. Social factors include population demographics, activist groups, as well as consumer tastes, lifestyles, and income levels. Technological. The technological environment refers to advancements in technology that shape how businesses and industries operate. Two current examples are the pressure to adapt to e-commerce trends and the explosion of AI integration across all business levels. Legal. Legal factors refer to the laws and regulations that businesses must comply with, such as permits required for operation, labor laws, safety standards, consumer rights, and intellectual property laws. Businesses must comply with the specific legal requirements of each country they operate in and adapt to the legal frameworks of any new country they wish to enter. Environmental. Environmental factors refer to the elements of the physical and natural environment. This includes weather, climate, geographical conditions, and the availability of natural resources. Because of global warming and the depletion of natural resources, businesses are now under increasing pressure to implement environmentally friendly practices. Efforts to reduce carbon footprints and the responsible use of raw materials are also part of the environmental component of the macro environment. Think of business environments like an ecosystem. Let's say you're a frog living by the riverside. The microenvironment is where you're in your own space, going about your daily business. You might be building your home, resting, or deciding when to move. Because this is your personal space, in theory, we assume that you have full control over it, although in reality, there can be limitations to that. Now, when you go out to catch some insects for food, you enter the market environment, whether it's the birds that hunt you, other frogs competing for food, or the insects you're trying to catch. This direct interaction gives you some control over their behavior, as much as it also gives them some influence over yours. The river itself and the area around it make up your macro environment. You and the other creatures have no control over them. You can't stop it from flooding or drying up. All you can do is adapt to these changes. So, micro is about the frog's personal actions in its space. Market is about interactions with other animals and influences nearby. And macro is about the broader forces shaping the environment. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel. And click on any of the displayed videos to explore more topics.